It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
Sunday morning, time to talk cars for the next 60 minutes on your weekly automotive radio experience. I'm Nick Miles, and you're listening to America's automotive radio show, keeping you connected to the automotive world. Locally created, nationally celebrated. What's on today's show? We'll talk about the fun and exciting cars we've been driving this week. Who has the best car in the mud? John Vincent's going to be here with the 2016 winners of Mudfest. It's springtime, time to tune up your vehicle. Has it been sitting in the garage? Do you know what you need to do? Well, we'll have a list of things to check off with our local expert, Dan from Target SUV. Aram's going to be here from Team Latus, the Harley-Davidson and Triumph dealership. And also, we're going to be talking about products. Jason, by the way, will be joining Aram to talk about the latest in motorcycles. Ryan going to be here to talk about the latest things to keep your car clean and shiny. So one of the cars I've been driving this week, well, I was lucky enough to spend a few hours in the Rolls-Royce Dawn. This is their new super luxury four-seater. It has a silent ballet motion, which is the roof which comes up and down. 20 seconds to do that. You can do it at 31 miles an hour. 6.6-litre V12 engine, turbo, and it has direct injection, 563 horsepower. This vehicle also has an 8-speed ZF gearbox, 575 pounds-foot of torque. Yes, I drove a $400,000 car, and I think that really matters. Boats and fine pieces of art are what it competes against.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you won Powerball, are you going to buy this car? Because normally that's the first thing you lead with.
Yeah, I would tell you I would buy it depending on how much I won for Powerball. If I won $400,000, probably wouldn't spend it all on the car.
Editing the video, it looks beautiful.
It is a very beautiful vehicle. Boats and fine pieces of art is what it competes against. Bespoke is what Rolls-Royce do to it. So here's an interesting story. There is an owner of a Rolls-Royce, and they have 2-inch lambswool carpet inside the vehicles, which you take your shoes off to drive. That's part of the elegance of owning the vehicle. There is a guy who was taking his shoes off to drive the car every time he did it. He felt that his shoes didn't have a place in the car. So instead of a champagne fridge in the back, he had Rolls-Royce build a shoe holder in the back seat. So when he took his shoes off to drive the car, they'll do things like that for you. They'll make a dog bed for your back seat, which I think is fantastic. However, it's maybe a little opulent for my lifestyle. I'm more of a guy who likes to pay $9,000 for a motorcycle.
You don't think Southeast Portland?
I don't think the Southeast Portland will work for the Rolls-Royce.
Yeah.
There are some people in Southeast Portland who probably could afford it. In the Hollywood district, perhaps.
Not in your neighborhood.
No, well, I don't think so, no. It looks a little out of place in my driveway, I have to tell you. 16-speaker surround sound audio with an anti-bum-numbing button. Gives you seat massages. And beautiful car that does fit, I would say, 4 people perfectly well in the car. Even with the coach doors, just 2 coach doors. Starting price, $335,000. When I'm driving, $400,000. Go on, John, say it.
Not going to say it.
You don't deserve it, Nick.
Not going to say it.
All right, John Vincent is here. We're talking about an event which happens in the Northwest every single year. In early April, the Northwest Automotive journalists get together. They have an event in a muddy field called Mudfest, funnily enough. America's best SUVs, CUVs, and trucks are put through their paces. The winner of this competition walks away with the title of Northwest Outdoor Activity Vehicle of the Year. And John Vincent is here to give us the latest. He was one of the judges at the event. You can see John's work at US News and World Reports and at usnews.com. John, tell me where this year's event was.
This year's event was at the Ridge Motorsports Park in Shelton, Washington. Fantastic facility for this event.
So it has a track, it has a go-kart track, and they specially built an off-road facility for you.
Yes, it has the big track. It has a 1/6 scale replica of the big track that they use as a go-kart track and now as an SUV testing facility. And they built us a course for off-road.
All right. So how many cars entered this year?
27.
And in how many categories?
In 6 categories.
All right, 6 categories. So who won what category and why?
Compact utility vehicle, the Mazda CX-3. CX-3 won on the on-road day. The performance of that car on the go-kart track was amazing. Its all-wheel drive system, it was perfectly set up for the damp track. It just went great.
So I understand that the vice president of the Northwest Automotive Press Association, Mary Larry, broke the car, however.
There is a rumor to that effect, yes.
She
says it was only cosmetic.
You know, I talked to her on the phone. She said that it was well damaged before she got into it. Of course, somebody else did it.
There is slow-mo video.
Of it happening?
Yes.
Oh, wait. I think I see a Test Miles Facebook post coming up. By the way, if you're on Facebook right now and you go to the Test Miles page, or you're on YouTube, on my page, or Periscope, you can watch the show live as we're streaming the show from the studio. All right, let's talk a little bit about the other categories. So what are the other categories? Who won?
Premium compact utility vehicle.
This is like the larger family-style vehicle.
This is the... actually, no, this is premium compact. This is the smaller cars, but the luxury cars.
Okay, so small luxury.
And Volvo V60 Cross Country. Another great car on the on-road day, and held its own on the off-road day.
Which is, really great, because Volvo have been winners of this for a long time. They've won this event in the past many times, and they're back winning it again.
Yeah, it's been a few years, but they are back strong, as we'll talk about in a couple more categories.
Clearly, it wasn't the only category they won. Next category.
Family utility vehicle, the Jeep Grand Cherokee 75th Anniversary Edition.
Grand Cherokee is not a new platform.
Grand Cherokee was probably the oldest platform we had out there.
And it still knocked everybody out the park.
Its ability is still fantastic.
So what's the difference on the other ones with the 75th anniversary?
It's mostly an appearance package, but it's a really nice appearance package. Smoked wheels, trim pieces. Jeep and Chrysler in general do a fantastic job with special edition vehicles, and these Jeeps are fantastic.
And the Grand Cherokee has the mode where you can on-road.
Terrain response. You can tune it to a number of different settings, and it's like off-road cruise control.
So perfect for this kind of competition.
Yep.
I love the idea, too, of smoked. I mean, even when I look at motorcycles, the bling chrome, I think, is not what I like as maybe it's just the age bracket thing, but I think that the sort of smoked, the dark black aluminum looks much better. And I think when you do that on car wheels, it really gives them especially on something that's a little bit menacing. Like
car wheels, car headlights.
Yeah.
It works really well.
All right, so the next category.
Premium utility vehicle. These are your mainstream luxury SUVs.
Bigger luxury SUVs.
Bigger SUVs. Bigger, yeah. Volvo SC60 T6 with the new Drive E drivetrain.
So the XC60, right?
XC60, sorry. Yes.
That's a surprise, too, because that's a fairly old vehicle.
Another fairly old vehicle, but it has a new engine. It has a twin-charged engine, both a supercharger and a turbocharger. Much better efficiency than the old model, and still very, very capable.
All right. 2 categories left. What was the next one?
Extreme capability. This is where we had a lot of fun. And
it's where you get them really muddy, and you take them places that 99.99% of people will never take a vehicle.
Absolutely. And the winner was the Jeep Wrangler 75th Anniversary Edition.
Yeah, they just kind of own that whole thing, don't they? I mean, it's Range Rover, Land Rover, and Jeep, the car companies that really own that segment. There's a lot of competition coming into that segment now. Toyota working really hard to get in there. But Wrangler still is just amazing.
Range Rover entered a Range Rover Sport with a new diesel engine in the category. And honestly, it probably had more going for it that was new and interesting this year. But the Wrangler was just so much fun.
Right. Not necessarily so much fun to drive on the freeway up to Shelton, Washington, but much more fun to drive on the off-road course.
I had a Camaro to drive on the freeway, so that wasn't a problem for me.
Oh, nice. And then the final category.
Pickup trucks.
Yeah.
Ram Rebel. And the Rebel is essentially an appearance package on the Ram, but it's a very well done appearance package.
And did the vehicle actually manage to do the course without any problems?
There was one incident before everybody got there with the rep from Chrysler.
Oh.
But
this wasn't something to do with Mary again.
No, this wasn't Mary's fault this time. But we had a lot of fun with the Rebel. We were out actually doing donuts in the middle of a lake with the Rebel.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'd like to see footage of that.
Yeah, I love the guys from Dodge and how they just go out and have fun with their own vehicles.
From Ram, yeah.
Ram, sorry.
They do that really well. All right, so out of all of those 6 category winners, somebody had to be chosen as the king of the castle. Who was it?
Jeep Grand Cherokee, 75th anniversary.
Really? So it won the overall...
Big surprise, yes.
Really?
Yep.
And I'm sure that Jeep just walked away with a huge smile on their face.
Absolutely, they did.
All right, so the next event coming up for the Northwest Automotive Press Association?
Drive Revolution, which is our green car and technology event, which happens right in downtown Portland this July.
And at the end of July, we'll bring you all the updates of that. John, Vincent, always a major pleasure to have you on the show. When we come back, we got a lot to talk about in this show. We're going to talk about getting your car ready for spring. When should you be taking it into the shop? What should you be doing? We're also going to talk about motorcycles. We're going to talk to the team from Latest, Team Latest, and we're going to talk about Harley Davidsons and Triumphs. Gets me excited because I'm in the market for a new bike. It's all coming up on Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles.